So today we are doing the tutorial 2 اللي هو sets والfunctions والmatrices. We are going to talk about three things as you can see. بنتكلم عن الsets وعن الfunctions, and last we will talk about what we call the matrices. Now first of all, what do we mean when we say set? Set بالعربي معناها مجموعة. It is one of the basic building block for the type of objects considered in the discrete mathematics. It's very important to talk about the sets whenever we talk about the discrete mathematics. It's important for counting. It's important for programming languages that have a set operation. The set theory is important in a lot of branches of mathematics. For different system of axioms, how we are not concerned here. We are not concerned with a formal set of axioms for the set theory. Instead, we will use what is called the Navy set theory. So what does the word set mean? First of all, what does the word set mean? The set معناها collection of objects. When we have collection of objects. Now, those collection of objects may have something in common or they may not have something in common. يعني مثلا, I can say I have the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I say I have this set. It's a set of the numbers from 1 to 4. وممكن إن I'm collecting just numbers like 2, 5, 7, and 100. Nothing in common between those numbers. I'm just collecting them in one set. Okay? So the set is a collection of objects. This collection of objects may be of things that have something in common, or maybe they do not have something in common. They are just a collection of stuff that I'm putting together. Example of a set when I'm talking about the student in this class. هذه set. Example of a set when we are talking about the chairs in this room. This is an example of a set. Whatever we have inside the set, we call it element or a member. You will hear me a lot talking about element. إيش يعني element؟ يعني عنصر بالعربي. إيش يعني element؟ يعني what's inside the set. So number 2 هنا is called element. عنصر من عناصر الset. Okay. طبعا always we refer to the set with capital letters. يعني I can say I have the set A capital. I have the set B capital. Unlike when we talk about preposition, صح؟ The preposition كنا نستخدم small letters P, Q, R, and S. When we are talking about sets هنا, I'm using capital letter, capital A, capital B, capital C, capital D, and so on. We're using capital letters here. So, just 1 second. Now, A is said to contain its element. Now, contain, معناها the elements are inside it. So as you can see, A has its element, the 1, 2, 3, 4. The B contain its element 2, 5, 7, 100. كلها هذه terminologies, يعني مصطلحات نستخدمها دائما. Now, we use the symbol of this notation A belong to A to denote in the element A is inside the set A. So, for example, هنا أنا عندي 2 is element inside the B, so I write in the 2 belong to B. This is how we write it. بدل ما أقول إن 2 is element in B, I say in the 2 belong to B, and this is how I write it. I use this symbol. For example, I can say the 7 belong to B. بالنسبة لل A, I can say I have the 4 belong to A. If the element is not inside the set, مثلا ال 5 is not inside the A, so I say it does not belong to. Okay, we write it like this, not belong to the set A. So this is element set relation. عندي set وعندي element صغير small a inside a big set capital A. Whenever we talk about the set راح يكون عندنا universal set. Universal set اللي هي the biggest set. Depend on the question that we have. So it could be stated in the question, or we can just understand it from the concept, from how the question is written. Now here we have this example. They are giving me the set A has the elements 1, 3, 5 and 7. You can see how we write the set. We use the curvy bracket. لازم نستخدم الكيرفي bracket الأقواس هذه الكيرفي. We separate the elements with comma. We use a capital letter to refer to the set A equal to, and we list the elements of A. So this is an example of a set A that has the elements 1, 3, 5, and 7. 3 belong to A, and 2 does not belong to A. Another way to write the set اللي هي بدون ما نكتب elements by telling what's the special thing about the set. The set capital C equal to X such that X is equal to N square plus 1. And what is the N? The N, all the numbers between 0 and 10. So here, they didn't tell me the elements that I have in my set. They just told me the special thing about those elements. The special thing in the elements are right like N squared plus 1 and the N between 0 and 1. Okay, and 10, sorry. Let me finish this one, yeah, Ruwaina, and I will go back to your question. So if the N is greater than or equal to 0, less than or equal to 10, what are the elements of N? قولوا لي ايش ال N هنا؟ It's between 0 and 10. So 0, it's 1, it's 2, it's 3, it's 4 لحد ال 10. مش هذا معناها؟ ايش يعني ان ال N between 0 and 10? It's greater than or equal to 0, less than or equal to 10. عارفين علامة الانكواليتي انتوا صح ولا لا؟ الانكواليتي تكون مفتوحة على البيجر نمبر ومعطية ظهرها للسمولر نمبر. So whenever I read it like this, هذه N وهنا greater than or equal to 0, less than or equal to 10 بمعنى انها محصورة ما بين 0 و 10. Because of the equal هنا 0 معاي, because of the equal هنا 10 معاي, so it's all the numbers between 0 and 10. Now my x is n square plus 1. مش هذه ال n? So مرة نسوي square لل0, 0 plus 1, it will be 1. Square the 1, it's 1 plus 1, it's 2. Square the 2, it's 4 plus 1, this will be 5. Square the 3, it's 9 plus 1, it's 10. Square the 4, 16 plus 1, 17. لحد ال 10. Square the 10, 100 plus 1, it's 101. Excellent. So actually the elements here are 1, 2, 5, 10, 17 لحد ال 101. And we can write all the elements. If we have time, we can calculate all of them. Okay. What was your question, يا روينا؟ ايش يعني object يكون بينهم شيء مشترك؟ يعني هنا belong to. نتكلم عن belong to. It means it is inside the set. علامة belong معناها it is inside. So when I say small a belong to capital A معناها إن it is inside the set A. For example لو كانت عندي ال A فيها ال elements 1, 2, 3 and 4 مين اللي داخلها؟ 2 في ال A. 3 I can say it's in A. طيب ال 5 موجودة بال A؟ No, it is not in A. It does not belong to A. فهذا بس note, a way to say in it is inside the set or it is not inside the set. ما قال أصغر من 0, قال لي إن ال n between 0 and the 10. هنا ال n. The values of n is here. Okay. Yeah, kind of. الدومينز هي set. الدومين are sets actually. بالضبط. If it is inside a set, then it belongs to. Now, to describe the set, طبعاً we have so many ways as you can see. The first way to describe the set is by using the roster method. Roster method معناها by writing the curly bracket, by separating the element by a comma, using a capital letter with equal sign. When you are writing in this way, you have to notice in the order is not important. بمعنى if I write A, B, C, D, this is same as writing B, C, A, D. It's the same. A is a set, يا Samara. It's a set. It's given in the question. It could have a specific number. ممكن إنها finite وممكن infinite. It could be infinite. عادي, depend on the question. And I'm going to show you examples of a set. Just wait. The first thing, in an order is not important. بمعنى إنه if we switch the places of the elements, it's okay. Also, each distinct object is either a member or not, and listing more than once does not change the set. يعني if you write A, B, C, D, this is same as writing A, B, C, B, C again, and D. I repeated B, C 2 times. It's the same. نقول إن repetition does not affect. يعني for example, for that example حق ال A, لما أنا قلت عندي set A فيها 1, 2, 3, 4. If I write 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's fine. It's the same. This is same as writing 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? Sometimes we write dots like this just to refer to that we have the same pattern going on. يعني لو أنا عندي set A, B, C, D, E, F, G لحد Z. Instead of writing the elements, I just write dots. I did this before. أنا لما قلت إن أنا عندي ال N, it is 0, 1, 2, 3, بعدين لحد ال 10. I put dots. From the dots, you can understand in the sequence will follow the same way. Okay? Exactly, Muhammad. If the duplication does not be counted, we do not count if you have an element that is doubled there. Yeah, exactly. The dots معناها نفس التسلسل بنفس السيستم. We can't fill the elements. So here they are showing you more than one example using this roster method. عندنا مثلا example vowels in the English alphabet. عارفين vowels ال A, E, I, O, and U. This is a set. Exactly, Ahmed. Yeah, we just count distinct element. Repetition does not matter. So the vowels in English alphabet is an example of a set. If I told you the set of all odd, positive, integers less than 10, إيش يعني odd? What does it mean odd? فردي. إيش يعني positive? إيش يعني positive؟ موجب. إيش يعني less than 10؟ يعني أقل من 10. So I'm talking about 1 and 3 and 5 and 7 and 9. صح ولا لا؟ إيش النمبرز اللي تكون odd وبوزيتيف و less than 10 في نفس الوقت؟ 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. Using the roster method, this is how we write it. We use a curly bracket, separate with a comma. Those are the elements that are odd, positive, and less than 10. طيب if I'm asking you about positive integers less than 100 بس البوزيتيف integers less than 100 ننتبه ان الword less than 100 معناها اقل من 100 so the 100 is not included. Be careful. When we say positive الزيرو مو معاها. اوكي وانتجرز ننتبه لكلمة integers. الانتجرز اللي هي الأعداد الصحيحة. اوكي so be careful. البوزيتيف integers نسميها z بلس اللي هي من ال 1 2 3 and so on. النيجاتيف integers اللي هي z minus راح تكون minus 1 و minus 2 و minus 3 and so on. مو معاهم الزيرو. فلما أقول بوزيتيف معناها أكبر من الزيرو يعني من ال 1 and up integer. less than 100 يعني مو معاهم ال 100 without the 100 so it is 1 2 3 لحد 99. Got it? طيب if I say the set of all integers that are less than 0 الموجب والسالب ما معاهم الزيرو يا روينا يا ما معاهم الزيرو so actually الزد راح يكون فيها الزد بلس sorry وراح يكون فيها الزد ماينس وراح يكون فيها الزيرو. الزد فيها كل هذا زد بلس وزد ماينس والزيرو. So لما أقول set of all integers that are less than 0 integers less than 0 so I'm talking about the negative numbers then so I'm talking about minus 1 minus 2 minus 3 and so on. and actually هذه z minus ولا مش هذه z minus minus 1 minus 2 minus 3 and so on. It's the z minus. We're talking about z minus. لو قلت the set of all integers that are greater than 0 لو قلت لكم greater than 0 I'm talking about z plus اللي هي 1 و 2 و 3 and so on. Okay? Now, the important sets, I mentioned this last time when we talk about the predicate. قلنا أن لازم يكون عندنا universe of discourse. We talked about those important sets. The first set اللي هي natural number, الأعداد الطبيعية. It is 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. No, Sarah, it doesn't matter what letter you are using unless they specify in the question. إلا إذا في السؤال محدد لك إن الست هذه هي A والست هذه هي B, you have to stick with what they stated. لكن in general, you can choose whatever letter you want to name your set. For the first, ما عدا الimportant sets هذه, usually إن إحنا لما أقول N, I'm talking about the natural numbers. Whenever I say Z, I'm talking about integers, اللي هي الأعداد الصحيحة, اللي هي الأعداد الكاملة. whole numbers. I'm talking about the 0, 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2, and minus 3. Z positive, as we said, it is 1, 2, 3, and so on. Z negative, طبعا, is equal to minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, and so on. Real numbers are اللي هي all the numbers. Roots, fraction, positive, negative, 0. طبعا ال R plus is going to be what? ال positive real number. ال C طبعا ال complex number. This is out of our scope. We're not discussing the complex number here. وعندنا ال Q اللي هي الايش؟ الراشونال نمبر. ال Q اللي هي الراشونال نمبر اللي هي ال fractions. It's anything of the form A over B such that this B should not equal to 0 and A, B belong to Z, which means they are integers. A, B are integers and the B does not equal to 0. Okay? ايش الناتشرال نمبر؟ الناتشرال نمبر من اسمها they come from the nature. أنا لما أعد شجرة أقول شجرة، شجرتين، ثلاثة، أربعة، ما أقول شجرة ونص. I do not say 1.5 صح؟ So it is أو حتى نسميها الكاونتينج نمبر. الناتشرال نمبر نسميها الكاونتينج نمبر. This is how we learn babies to count. نعد معاهم 1 2 3 4 5 and so on. الناتشرال number for this course أضافوا لها الزيرو by the way. يعني maybe you can see it somewhere else إن الناتشرال number من غير الزيرو لأنها it is the primitive number اللي هي الكاونتينج numbers. ما يجي معاها زيرو. We do not count zero. نبدأ الكاونتينج بالone. لكن in this course they are adding الزيرو to the natural number. الحين الانتجرز وسعناها. أيوة الريال فيها كل شيء، كسور، جذور and everything. اوكي. الانتجرز اللي هي الناتشرال نمبرز اللي هي الزيرو والone والتو والثري and we add the negative number part to them. We add the -1 -2 and -3. طبعا البوزيتيف integer is easy. The real number is the set of all numbers. Positive, negative, root, fraction, decimal, all the number. R plus is the positive part. الcomplex number أنا قلت لكم الcomplex ما أبغى نعقد نفسنا فيها لأنه it's not important. It is A plus I في الB. where I is equal to the root of -1. الأعداد المركبة. It's not important for us here, but it's a type. It's an example of a set. حد يتذكر هذه الكومبلكس نمبر؟ تذكرونها الكومبلكس نمبر هذه؟ الأعداد المركبة. It is A plus I B وال I is a root of -1. الروت of -1 مو موجودة في ال R. It's not an R. If you try to find a root of a minus number, it's not a real number. فيطلع برا ال R. Yeah. So الراشونال نمبر اللي هي الكوشنت اللي هي fraction top and bottom بشرط ان the bottom is not equal to 0. A and B all can be integers here. So all of these are example of sets, the most important sets with their names. Now describing a set, how to write the set. ممكن a set by listing the element by in active in I have elements 1 2 3 4 5. This is the element that I have, or we can write it using what we call the set builder notation. How is that? Let's see examples. If I write your set S is equal to X, انتبهوا كيف نقرأها. Such that هذه such that نقرأها. X is positive integer less than 100. فأنا حطيت شروط إن S فيها X such that this X positive integer and it is less than 100. What do I have? What are the elements I have? If I want to write it, if I want to write the elements using the roster notation, what are the elements that we have here? Exactly 1 2 3 لحد ال 99. أحط 3 نقط comma 99. Yeah, excellent. هذه نسميها الروستر notation. هذه نسميها set builder notation. By writing what's the special thing the set is having. Positive integer less than 100. Now the set T مثلا هنا it is odd positive integer and it is less than 10. Yeah, what do I have elements here? It's odd هنا فردي positive وinteger and it's less than 10. So I have the 1, I have the 3, excellent, I have the 5, I have the 7 and I have the 9. We can list them يعني ما يحتاج نحط نقط. We have the 7 and the 9. Yeah. Now check this one. O is the set. Let me use the green one. X when بدل ما يقول instead of saying إن it is a positive integer قال لي it is in the plus. شايفين؟ Instead of saying it is a positive integer, x is a positive integer, I say x belongs to z plus. I know when it's a positive integer and it is odd and it is less than 10. So what elements do I have again? Again, I have the same elements اللي هي positive odd. انتبهوا odd and less than 10. Again, it's 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9. هذه نفسها by the way, but they are trying to show you إن يعني بدل ما كتبت odd positive, it's in the plus. The predicates as well can be used here. The predicate that we talked about before. I can say in s equal to x such that px is true. Okay. فمثلا for example I can say in the px is this predicate in x squared plus 1 let's say minus 1 or minus 4 is equal to 0. So I can say in the set S is equal all the x's that are solution of this predicate. Just a second. Let me write it clearly. Yeah. So أنا إيش قاعدة أقول هنا؟ إن ال S is the set X بحيث إن ال BX is true. Now the PX is in the X squared minus 4 equal to 0. Let's solve it. معناها إن X squared equal to 4. معناها إن ال X is equal to plus or minus 2. So what do I have in my set? Plus 2 and minus 2. So predicates can be used as well here. أكيد إن they should give you the predicate. أكيد. How can you know? The predicate should be there. Yeah. الحين ال Q plus عرفنا اتفقنا إيش ال Q اللي هي ال quotients اللي هي rational numbers. ال positive rational numbers we can write it this way. It's x's that are in R such that x is P على Q for some positive integers P Q بما أنها Q plus positive integers the P Q. Okay. The example of the predicate, it could come like this. يقول لك إن ال Px is x squared minus 4 is equal to 0. And your set S is equal to all the x's such that Px. إيش يعني such that Px؟ بمعنى such that Px is true. What do I have in my set then? I solve this one. X squared minus 4 is equal to 0. X squared equal to 4. X equal to plus or minus 2. So the solution is plus and minus 2. The last one, I'm talking about the positive rational numbers. إذا rational يعني it is P على Q. Well, P وال Q, both of them are positive integers then. Okay, فهذا ال Q plus. ها وضحت؟ Is that clear? طيب describe a set. آخر واحدة اللي هي الإيش اللي هي الكيو بلس. اللي هي الكيو بلس. احنا اتفقنا إنه what's the Q? What's the Q? The Q is anything of the form P على Q بحيث إن ال P وال Q are all in Z and بحيث إن ال Q is not equal to 0. ما يجي عليها سؤال. هذه يعني notation. هذه notation. This is the Q in general. طيب أنا لو قلت لك Q plus it's gonna be P على Q, and the P and the Q should be in Z plus. With this condition we don't need to worry about it, لأن since إن PQ في Z plus معناها إن Q is not equal to 0. So this is what they wrote. قالوا لي إن Q plus is equal to all the X بحيث إن X is equal to P على Q, and بحيث إن P and the Q are positive integers. مش هذه Q plus؟ This is the Q. ولازم الكونديشن إن Q is not 0. Q plus P و Q وال P وال Q راح تكون في Z plus. ما يحتاج إني أذكر الكونديشن Q is not equal to 0 لأن في Z plus I don't have a Q equal to 0. So we did not mention that condition here. So this is how we write it. Q plus is all the x's such that x is P على Q will P will Q are positive integers, or we can write in the P and the Q belong to Z plus if we want to. You got it now? ايش اللي ما فهمته يا عبد الرحيم؟ ايش اللي ما فهمته؟ هذه مش تقسيم، هذه x such that، هذه نقرأها such that. ايش يعني such that؟ يعني بحيث. It's x بحيث إن ال x is equal to P على Q. هذه نقرأها such that. Okay. Exactly يا أمان. ال Q مثلا ال 5 على 4 is an example. ال -2 على 3 is an example. Last time we mentioned that. مثلا ال 7 على ال -5 is an example. ال 4 على ال 1 is an example. ال 0 على 3 is an example. كلها Q هذه. كلها هذه in Q. Okay. اللي هي rational number، اللي هي الكوشنت، اللي هي بسط ومقام. top and bottom. 0 over 3 is 0, which is a quotient, which is a rational number. No 0 in the bottom, dear. بالنسبة لل Q, if I'm talking about the Q, ال Q اللي تحت هي اللي اشترط عليها it's not 0. The top is fine. The top is fine to be 0. Just the bottom, we cannot divide with a 0. Okay? So describing a set and in an interval notation, one important thing in the mathematics is the interval. Interval معناها الفترات. So instead of listing the element, instead of using the set builder notation, we just write as an interval. When we write to close a bracket, شايفين البراكت? Close the bracket, square bracket, AB, it means x's such that x is between A and B with equal بمعنى أن ال A with B are with me. And on the number line هذا إيش معناها؟ معناها this is my A, this is my B. I'm talking about A and B and all the numbers between A and B. كل الأرقام ما بين ال A وال B, including the A, including the B. with a closed circle هنا لأن ال A will be معاي. Yeah. If I'm using the square bracket with the circle bracket to the right معناها the A with me, the B is not with me. but all the numbers between A and B are included. On the number 9, if this is my A, A with me, and the B is not, so open until B and all the numbers between A and B. You got that? Because I have circular هنا, دائري, and here I have the square. If I have a square عند ال A, sorry, circular عند ال A, I have it circular عند ال A, and I have it a square عند ال B. It means in the B with me, and the A is not. So in the number 9, the A is not included, and the B will be included. This is A, and this is B, and all the numbers between A and B are. طب لو كان open, it means ما في equal, no equal عند ال A, no equal عند ال B, and all the numbers between A and B are included. This is B, this is A, and all the numbers in between them. Okay? Now, for example, if I told you I have this closed interval from 2 to مثلا 9, what does it mean? I'm not talking about the 2 and 9 بس, I'm talking about all the real numbers من 2 إلى 9. كل الأرقام الريال, ها؟ عندي 2 لا يا مريم. We do not say it is just 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. لا, it's actually all the numbers between the 2 and the 9. We cannot state them. ما نقدر إن إحنا نكتبهم exactly. I'm talking about all the real numbers. All the real numbers. This is why I use the real number line. Talking about all the real numbers between 2 and the 9. Got it? If I say you have open interval from 1 to 5, معناها I'm talking all the x's greater than 1 and less than 5. So this is the 1, this is the 5. I'm talking about all the numbers that are between the 1 and the 5. كل الأرقام من 1 to 5, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, and so on. All the numbers from 1 to 5 are included in here. Okay. The interval, whenever it is closed from both sides, نسميها closed interval. لما تكون open from both sides, نسميها open interval. Okay. So be careful with the type of brackets we are using. الحين whenever I'm using a circular bracket مثلا وقلت لك عندك from 2 9, I'm talking exactly about 2 and 9. قاعد أتكلم عن الرقمين 2 9 لأن I'm using the curvy bracket. This is a set. When I'm saying you have a closed interval from 2 to 9, معناها I'm actually talking about all the numbers من 2 إلى 9. I'm talking about a lot and a lot of numbers. Okay, if it is open from 2 to 9, again it means I'm talking about من 2 إلى 9 and all the numbers in between them, but not including the 2 and the 9. فننتبه لاستخدام الأقواس. ممكن استخدم الكيرفي معناها it is a set. معناها بالضبط قاعد أتكلم عن 2 وال 9. قاعد أتكلم عن رقمين بس. لما راح استخدم السكوير براكت معناها I'm talking about interval هنا. Here I'm talking about interval. And here I'm talking about interval. طبعا الانترفال can be closed. It can be open. It can be semi-open أو نسميها semi-closed. ممكن مفتوح مغلق من البداية مفتوح من النهاية. ممكن مفتوح من البداية ومغلق من النهاية. All of this is what we call interval. المغلقة معناها include الأطراف. Open معناها it's not including the edges. يعني هنا open 2 و 9 open circle مش معاي ما أحسب 2. from 2 and up. اللي more than 2 يعني أبدأ من more than 2. لا ما أخذ بس الرقمين، أخذ الرقمين والباقي. مثلا يا محمد مثلا من 2.1 actually it's much من 2.1 عندنا less than 2.1. والopen I'm not taking the 2, I'm not taking the 9, but I'm taking a little bit more than 2 and up. Okay, طبعا they will never ask you to list the element. صعب ان احنا list the element from 2 to 9. We have infinite number of elements. ما عندي عدد غير منتهي. And I can't say 2.1, I can't say 2.01, I can say 2.0001. Okay? فكلمة interval معناها قطعة من الخط المستقيم. It's فترة. معناها it's a part of the real number line أنا قاعد أتكلم عنه. مثلا يا محمد مثلا if you want to imagine it لكن مو exactly we cannot list the element. ما نقدر نعرف بالضبط من أول رقم راح يكون بعد ال 2. الحين ممكن نقول إن بعد ال 2 عندي 2.00000001 صح؟ ممكن أقول عندي 2.00000000 and 1. I have so many numbers. I can get closer and closer. Actually, it's infinite thing. الدومين is a set يا عمر. الset is a general concept. الset هذا شيء كبير معنى كامل. الدومين is a set. Now here we have examples of a set using a set builder notation. I have the set A with the elements 1, 4, 9, 16 and 25 and dots. What do you notice in this set? هذه list element. شو ملاحظين؟ ال1 is actually 1 square وال4 is 2 square وال9 is 3 square وال16 is the square of the 4 وال25 is the square of the 5. فأتوقع النكس راح يكون square of 6 بعدين square of 7 بعدين and so on. So we can say إن A is X بحيث or such that X is in the square and N is a positive integer. Notice إن قاعد أتكلم عن ال1 وعن ال2 وعن ال3 وعن ال4 وعن ال5 وعن ال6. So I'm talking about positive integer. I'm talking about positive integers here. A has the elements 1, 4, 9, 16 and 25. ألاحظ إن ال1 is a square, ال4 is a 2 square, وال9 is a 3 square. So in general I can write it in it is n square بحيث n is a positive integer. الحين ممكن يعطيكم إياها كذا ويطلب من عندكم تكتبونها كذا. وممكن they give you this way and they ask you to write it using the set builder notation. But usually العكس إنه يعطينا إياها كذا this way and you are supposed to list the elements. You have to list the elements. Now the second set ما هو natural number يا ورود. If you say natural number the zero should be there صح؟ وين الزيرو؟ ما فيها zero. If you say natural numbers it should have a zero. It is z plus actually. Now the B X such that X is a letter of the word Muhammad. So if I list the elements of the word Muhammad, it is M, it is O, it is H, A, M, E, and D. Notice in the M is repeated 2 times, so we do not repeat. It will be M, O, H, A, E, and D. As you can see, this is how we write the set B. طبعا the order is not important. We mentioned this. ما يفرق الترتيب. We don't care about the order. We don't care about the repetition. Repeated نشيله خلاص. We don't repeat elements. Now, one way to describe the set is using the Venn diagram. Venn diagram named after the scientist John Venn. A Venn diagram is using boxes and circles to join the sets together. So, for example, if I'm talking about the prime number that are less than 10, what are the primes that are less than 10? I have the 2 and the 3 مثلا and the 5 and the 7. I put them inside the circle. And the square represent the universal set اللي هي البigger set. فالفين diagram is used here. مثلا, let me give you a simple example. If I say you have the universal set is all the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 لحد 10. And you have your set A is the set of X such that X in the U and X, what's happening here? برايم يعني عدد أولي. And X is odd. This will be my U هنا. U is all the numbers from 1 to 10. And A is my set that has all the elements that are odd. فداخل راح يكون عندي 1 and 3 and 5 and 7. 1, 3, 5 and 7 and 9. Here I will have the 2 and the 4 and the 6 and the 8 and the 10. So this is how I represent those two sets. Universal اللي هي from 1 to 10 اللي هي الست الكبيرة, and inside it I have the A that have the odd numbers out of the set, and this will be my A. Maybe, sometimes. I'm talking about odd هنا. This is a different example. Don't get confused. This is an example. What does a prime mean الحين? Let me go back to the example that they give to me. إيش يعني prime? What does the word prime mean? Nobody knows? Prime numbers معناها الأعداد الأولية. معناها it's the number that is divisible by 1 and itself only. Yeah, this what does prime mean. الأعداد اللي تقبل القسمة على واحد وعلى نفسها فقط. Divisible by 1 and itself. ما لها قواسم. طبعا the first prime number is 2. ال1 is not a prime. You have to be careful. ال1 is not a prime. We will have a full chapter, inshallah, talking about those prime numbers. 2 is prime, the first prime that we have. 3 is a prime. 5 is a prime. 7 is a prime. But what else? 9 a prime? لا. 9 divisible by 3. 11 is a prime. Excellent. 13 is a prime. Great. What else? 17 is a prime. Bad. 19. 22, لا, 22 divisible by 11. 21 divisible by 3 and the 7. 23. And so on. We have infinite numbers of a prime. أول prime عندنا is the 2. And you must notice إن ال1 is not a prime. ال1 is divisible by 1. To be prime, it should be divisible by 2 factors, by 1 and itself. فال1 ما ينحسب إنه هو prime. We start from the 2. So if I say the prime that are less than 10, I have the 2, 3, 5 and 7. مش الفردية يا عبد الله، لا مش صحيح. مش صحيح إن الأعداد الفردية كلها برايم. ال9 فردي. But ال9 is not prime. ال9 is divisible by 3. So it's not a prime. Also the 21. The 21 is odd. But the 21 is not prime. This example, the one that they give to you, يتكلم عن البرايم اللي للسنتر. ال9 is not a prime لأن 3 divide the 9. It's divisible by 3. معروف. 21 is not a prime لأن 21 if we divide it مثلا على 7 it equal to 3. Yeah. Depend on the question, yeah, Ruina. It's not about how many numbers we put inside. Depend on the question that you have. الحين those are two separate examples. هذا example 1 كان يتكلم عن البرايم وهذا example 2 it talks about odd. This is why we have the 9 هنا. انتبهوا. 29 is a prime, yeah. Later on, inshallah, we will have a full chapter talking about those prime number and we will learn how to know that the number is a prime or not. We have a method, we have a mathematical method حتى في bigger number in how to know if this number is a prime or not a prime. Okay? For now, I just want you to know this basic thing. بالمثال اللي أنا سويته أنا جمعت الأعداد الفردية in a circle. Odd numbers. Not بكرة, لا. Later on, inshallah, we will have a chapter talking about that. So the membership in a set and the empty set, if we have X belong to S, we mentioned this already. X is the element or the member of S, and this we read it like belong to. If we say 3 belong to N, what is N احنا؟ اتفقنا ان ال N معناها ايش؟ اللي هي natural numbers صح ولا لا؟ I'm talking about the natural numbers. So 3 belong to N, that's correct. 3 belong to N. طيب if I say مثلا minus 3, does minus 3 belong to N? True or false? No, it's not. Does not belong to. We can say مثلا A, the letter A, small a, belong to X such that X is a letter of the alphabet. True or false? This is correct, yeah. Now, we are starting now connecting what we take last time, logic, with the sets. If we say is X does not belong to S, this is the negation of X belong to S, ولا؟ صح ولا لا؟ X ما هي في ال S. This is the negation of X في ال S. Also one important terminology هنا اللي هو الفاي أو النل أو الempty set، المجموعة الفاضية. الفاي the empty set we refer to it with empty brackets. أقواس فاضية. You must be careful. أنا لما أقول فاي I'm talking about empty set. لكن لما أقول الست اللي فيها الفاي I'm talking about set فيها one element صح؟ اللي هو الفاي. They are not the same. This is not same as this. هذا ما هو هذا. If you say phi لحالها or the set with the phi inside it, it's not the same. لأن الفاي فيها zero elements والset with the phi inside it فيها one element اللي هو الفاي itself. So we have to be careful. And this is not equal to this. Phi is not equal to the set with the element phi inside it. نسميها singleton set. I told you. الفاي كم element فيها؟ الفاي كذا لحالها how many elements فيها؟ 0 elements. والست اللي فيها الفاي how many elements it has؟ 1 اللي هو الفاي. ف they are not the same. Actually they are not the same. Now definition of the set equality. Phi is an element as a set. أنا الحين زي ما إني أجي أجمع numbers داخل set، أنا ممكن أجمع مجموعات داخل set ولا؟ أنا بكيفي كذا، أنا حابة إني أجمع مجموعات sets inside the set. Let me give you this example. Say that you have a set A that has the elements A and B. We have what we call the power set of A, which is التجمع من كل subsets of A. من كل المجموعات اللي هي part of A. الفاي is a part of A. السingleton A is a part. السingleton B is a part. or ممكن إني آخذ ال A B مع بعض وأقول this is a part. So I have a collection of all the sets that can be a part of this A. صح ولا لا؟ ممكن I take the A لحالها. The B alone. or A B أخذهم مع بعض أو أخذ nothing اللي هو الفاي. فهذا collection of sets نسميها subsets. هذا تجمع من مجموعات عادي. أنا جمعت مجموعات وسويت مجموعة. I can do that. زي ما إنه يكون عندي numbers I collect them together. As well here I can collect sets I put them all together I form a set. نسميها الباور set actually. phi معناها مش nothing معناها an empty set. الفاي هنا نسميها empty set اللي هي phi معناها brackets وما فيها شيء فاضية nothing. This looks nicer. Now definition of the set equality means when we have sets that are equal to each other. Now two sets are declared to be equal. Two sets are said to be equal to each other if they contain exactly the same elements. They are of the same size. They contain the same elements. So using the logical expression, we say that two sets A, B are equal if for all the x's إذا ال x في ال A then the x in B and إذا ال x in B then the x in A. So we write it like if and only if. Does this make sense? متى the two sets are equal? If for all the x's إذا ال x في ال A ال x راح يكون في ال B وإذا ال x في ال B لازم ال x يكون في ال A. So if x in A if and only if x in B. This is the logical way to write it. Okay? For all يا محمد you didn't study for the quiz. ما ذكرت الكويز للحين. إيش ال A المقلوبة هذه؟ Answer him. إيش ال A المقلوبة هذه؟ It's for all, for each. We use it for the predicate. إذا لكل ال A's, for all the A's. إذا ال X في ال A, this is if and only if X in B. ننتبه النوتس هذه حطوا لكم نوتس على جنب. What does it mean إن ال X is not in S؟ هذا happen إذا كان negation of X in S. هذا أول واحدة أخذناها. In 2 we take this. Two sets A and B are said to be equal if for all the X's. إذا ال X في ال A then the X in B will opposite. So it's if and only if. You got it؟ فهذا الشيء اللي خدناهم الحين. إذا does not belong it's the negation of x and s و a equal to b. If for all x's x and a, this implies in x will be, x will be, this implies in x and a. The order, as we said, is not important. Repetition is not important. They does not matter. فأنا لما أقول I have a 1 3 5, this is same as a 3 5 1. This is same as 1 3 3 3 5 5 5. All are equal, as you can see. All those three sets are equal. Okay. أعيد إيش بالضبط؟ الأخيرة الإكزامبل. الأوردر is not important. الريبيتيشن is not important. يعني إذا كان 1 3 5, this is same as saying 3 5 1. We mentioned this so many times. والريبيتيشن does not matter. الحين لما أكتب 3 3 3 هذه كأنها 1 3. 5 5 5, this is as if this is a 1 5 here. Now the subset relation. Subset معناها it's a part of. Exactly. Repeated, it's as if it's a one number. A subset relation, if I have the set T and I have the set S which is totally inside the T. الS بالكامل موجودة داخل T. We write this like in the S is a subset of T. الإيكوال اللي هنا معناها it could be equal to T at the same time. ممكن it is a part and it could be equal to T. Logically هذه معناها لما الإكس راحت في الإس هذا لازم راح ألاقي إن الإكس موجودة بالتي. Not the opposite. لأن الإس هي اللي داخل التي. So if this happens, if for all x's الx لو لقيتها بالS, this will imply that x in the T. Notice that الفاي subset من أي S ولا الفاي is a subset from any set that we have, and any set S is a subset of itself. Okay, if S is a subset of T is it true, and T is a subset of S again is it true, then S is equal to T. Does this make sense? لو حصل إن الS كانت داخل الT والT كانت داخل الS مش معناها إن they are equal. Yeah, this means they are equal, which means إن for all x في الS, if and only if x in T. Okay. Now the negation of S subset of T معناها it is not a subset of T. معناها إن في element x لقيته بحيث إن الx موجود في الS والx ما هو موجود في الT. So imagine إن this is your T and this is your S. As you can see إن الS ما هي داخل T. From the question يا هيا, from the question, from the example that you have, you will see إن one of them is actually inside the other one. الحين as you can see here إن الS ما هي داخل الT صح؟ فمعناها إن في x هذه معناها there exist. هذه معناها there exist. ما شاء الله you will do very well في الكويز على كذا. اليوم الثلاثاء والكويز الخميس. وانتوا لسه هذه تسمونها الإي المقلوبة. I'm so disappointed. So disappointed I mean. ما صرت أعرف أتكلم حتى. So anyway هذه there exist معناها موجود x بحيث إن الx الامتحان صعب عشان أكون واضحة معاكم. الامتحان مرة صعب ومرة دقيق وفيها كثير من الإي المقلوبة وكثير من هذه المقلوبة وبتشوفونهم بكثرة. كثير بتشوفوا منهم. So هذه there exists معناها موجود X بحيث إن ال X موجودة في ال S and the X is not in the T. So this what does it mean إن ال S is not a subset of T. Okay. Now more كم الساعة الحين؟ لحد ربع وبعدين ناخذ الريفيجن ماشي؟ proper subset الحين. We talked about the subset. قلنا إنه we have the set S and we have the set we have the set S is inside and out there we have the set T. Okay, and we said إن نقول إن ال S is a subset of T. equal as I mentioned معناها إن it could be equal to T. يعني I'm talking about إنها داخل ال T وممكن تكون تساوي T. Now what if I remove this? If I remove the equal sign معناها it is just a subset. There is no أمزح معاكم ما هو صعب الامتحان بس أبغاكم تخافون وتذكرون. Don't worry. براجع معاكم الحين والامتحان ما هو صعب ركزوا معي. So S is a subset of T without the equal sign. معناها it is actually subset, it's actually inside it but not equal to it. معناها إن ال S is not equal to T and in this case we say it is a proper subset. لا تبكون بسم الله عليكم راح نراجع لا تخافون don't worry. Okay. فإيش يعني proper subset؟ معناها it is a subset and it is not equal. It's a subset and it is not equal. فهنا they are giving us a simple example. We have the set 1 and 2. It is exactly a subset of 1, 2 and 3. It's a proper subset out of 1, 2 and 3. Okay? Now, sets are objects too. The sets, as I mentioned before, ممكن تكون themselves a part of another set. فمثلا, if I have the set S, which is all the x's that are 1, 2, and 3, all the x's that such that x is a subset of the set 1, 2, 3. I have the set 1, 2, and 3, and I'm talking about all the subsets that I can form out of this 1, 2, and 3. El phi is a subset of this set. السingletons اللي 1 لحالها وال 2 لحالها and the 3 لحالها is a subset of this set ولا؟ Also, if I take 2, 2, لو أخذت 1 مع 2 ولو أخذت 1 مع 3 ولو أخذت 2 مع 3 also it's a subset. ولو أخذت ال 1 وال 2 وال 3 itself it's a subset of itself. فكل هذه are all the subsets that are possible from this set. صح ولا لا؟ Because the order is not important. فال 1 2 نفسها 2 1 1 3 نفسها 3 1 2 3 نفسها 3 2. So those are all the possible subsets that we may have. You have to be careful. لما نقول 1 هذه ما في نفسها الست اللي فيها 1. And it's not same as the set اللي فيها الست اللي فيها 1. You have to be careful. Now let me give you one more example. If I give you this set, A, B, and C, I'm gonna call it S. وقلت لك جيب لي set of S اللي هي all subsets. So what are all the subsets of S? مبدئيا الفاي ومبدئيا ال A وال B وال C is a subset of itself. Then we collect the singletons. ال A لحالها وال B لحالها وال C alone. Then we start taking 2 2. Exactly. باخذ ال A مع ال B وباخذ ال A مع ال C وباخذ ال B مع ال C. Okay? And that's it. في شيء ثاني؟ طيب. If I have this set, I'm gonna call it A. فيها elements A will be. I want all the subsets, all the possible subsets that we have here. الفاي مبدئيا والA B مبدئيا صح؟ بداية الفاي والست itself. بعدين راح ناخذ السنجلتونز. الA B والB A نفسها. So ما نقول نسوي switch. لا ناخذ السنجلتونز. A لحالها والB لحالها. And that's it. Yeah? Notice one thing. هنا في S how many elements do I have? كم element عندي؟ كم element عندي؟ 3. What is 2 to the power 3? 8. How many elements I have? 8. Check this one. How many elements I have? 2. What is 2 to the power 2? 4. How many elements طلع عندي هنا؟ 4. So we have a rule. إذا ال A cardinality A أو قياس ال A is n, then الباور set على ال A cardinality تبعها راح يكون 2 to the power n. Yeah. So this is a rule. Now those lines نسميها cardinality اللي هي القياس أو how many elements. لما أقول cardinality of A يعني معناها how many elements in A do we have. عدد elements اللي عندنا في ال A. Okay. So this is about the power set. Now this is the cardinality definition. The cardinality of S or card S معناها the measure of how many different elements we have in S. How many different elements ننتبه لأن repetition is not calculated. So what's the cardinality of the phi? الphi فاضية. How many elements it has? 0. Yeah. What's the cardinality of the set of 1, 2, 3, and 5? 4. What's the cardinality of A, B, C? 3. What's the cardinality of the set that has a set of 1, 2, 3 and a set of 4, 5? 2. هذه مجموعة فيها مجموعتين. So what's the cardinality? It is 2 هنا. طيب, if I ask you what's the cardinality of the set of 1, 2, 2, 2 and 3? What's the cardinality of this one? 3 لأن عندي 2 repeated. We counted just one time. So the cardinality is 3. هنا ليش 2؟ لأنها set of 2. هذه مجموعة فيها مجموعتين فأنا أحسب المجموعتين بس. You have to be careful هنا. طيب, what's the cardinality of the set that has phi inside it? Excellent. It's 1. طيب, what's the cardinality of the set that has phi and the set that has phi? It is 2 لأن هذه واحدة وهذه واحدة. الكارديناليتي المجموعة اللي داخلها phi is 1 لأنها it's a set فيها one element اللي هو الفايل، صح ولا لا؟ Yeah. So try to think about it. Let's stop here. Any question? في أحد عنده أي سؤال على الجزئية هذه؟ Okay. I'm gonna stop the recording now. نحسب المجموعات، إذا عندنا أكثر من مجموعة نحسبها.